You're listening to 17 Carat K-Pop. For more information about the variety of topics covered on the show, as well as my other podcast, How to Stan, visit 17caratkpop.weebly.com. And if you enjoy this episode, please consider becoming a monthly donor to support my work and allow it to continue to go on and be free for all to access for as low as 99 cents a month. Visit the Support the Show link on my site's homepage for more information. In honor of Taeyong, my ultimate bias's birthday, I decided to put together a little clip show, a compilation of talks I've had on this show, talking about the meaning of his solo releases. It's a big Taeyong tribute episode. So happy birthday, Taeyong, and enjoy the show. Here are my comments about Dark Clouds. Let me share the details with you about the song, and then I will get to why it really matters, and even if you're not a fan of him or his music, why this actually is a really big, important moment, not just for super biased people like me. So Taeyong's song has 2 new versions out now. It's called Dark Clouds, and he wrote the lyrics for it and helped compose it with Royal Dive. Royal Dive helped him start working on the song at the end of 2019, which felt like the end of the before times, and then everything afterwards has been pretty rough. So it's interesting that this song came out right before everything didn't go so well. So maybe it's a good omen that now it's finally out in the world. It can send some good vibes. He has a Pro Unlimited SoundCloud, which is a type that means that he will get paid for streams. So to support his work, make sure you stream it. I will include an official link on my weekly newsletter. His SoundCloud reached 100,000 followers in less than 8 hours, and then it reached 150,000 followers in 2.5 days. Almost exactly, like 2 days and 12 hours. So here's why it matters. What is often the case is that a K-pop group has just a joint account. It's just the group-wide account. And different members sometimes will sign off on specific tweets or posts to let you know, hey, I'm the person who wrote this one, or to have Q&As with their name involved so you know it's them, things like that. But they have to share, and they have to hold on to put forward the face of the group instead of who they are just outside of the group. Although actually it's happening faster lately, but years ago, it used to be years down the line before artists would get to have more of a shine outside of their group. And this is so important for bigger groups especially. We've talked about this a lot, of course, because we talk about NCT and 17 tons on the show, and those have so many members. And it never fails to amaze me, no matter how much I think about it and talk about it, how they are able to pull off such synchronization and everything with so many members. How they manage harmonies, choreography, etc. It's like one giant group project, and even a small group project sounds intimidating to me. So very impressive feat to just have any performance, let alone albums on albums and videos on videos of their work together. It can't be easy. No matter how much you like your bandmates, it can't be easy to have to share lines in songs with so many other people, so you get a smaller fraction of the lines, a smaller fraction of the time to have a solo dance break or whatever. A lot smaller of a percentage of the time you get to shine on your own. So if you really want the spotlight on you and your artistry, it's really hard to do that with the group. And so it's really important for just the artist's freedom and mental well-being to express themselves outside of the group. So there's a culmination of factors here. There's the fact that Taeyong is from such a big group. There's the fact that he's getting paid then for the SoundCloud streams. And there's the fact he's growing his social presence on Instagram as well so quickly. I hope this is a special precedent for K-pop artists who want to do their own thing with SoundCloud releases, and with in general just feeling like they can have, on the side they can write and work on their own music, and they don't need it to be a whole thing if they don't want it to. They can just release a song when they feel like it, and they don't need to make a big promo blitz out of it. They can, that'd be great if they got the resources to do that from their companies, but the numbers when it comes to followers, views, chart placement, etc., all numbers point to this being a good thing to let artists create. It's as simple as that. And I know a lot of artists have released SoundCloud tracks before. It's not like he's setting a precedent there. I just think it's interesting to watch these factors culminate at the same time. The Instagram presence, the SoundCloud, the release of a new track. All those factors just amplify the message this incident sends, which is give artists freedom to do what they want. And it will not threaten their brand. It actually probably helps. Because if you get to do that thing on the side, then when you go back to doing group promo, you're probably more recharged. Just mentally, you are ready to give up more of the spotlight because you already had your time in the spotlight. There's that human need to be recognized for your work and your artistry. And if you feel that you were recognized and validated for it on your own, you're then probably going to be more cooperative when you have to go back to being just one of 23 people being recognized in a performance. It's just, overall, I think it will help group relationships and dynamics and the health of the group, the longevity of the group. This new song, Dark Clouds, is a great continuation of Lawn Flight. He has this really cute analogy that he uses in Lawn Flight that seems to have progressed in Dark Clouds. In Lawn Flight, it was basically, he described his negative feelings as like a shark hovering over him or circling him or just in general having this threatening presence. And then this new song, a cute whale, a protective whale. And I just thought that was a really cute evolution of this analogy of his. He's a really unique, cool way to look at the world and describe his feelings through song, and that always shows through his lyrics. Using this analogy again made me think of when he was getting some negative reactions to Lawn Flight because people were saying that the lyrics were childish or silly, but he had the best reaction, I think, that he could have had, where he basically said, well, yeah, isn't that a good thing? Like, why are you trying to grow up too fast? You should be in touch with your inner child. I still have that inner creativity and imaginative mind like a little kid, and I thought that was just the perfect response. Here are my comments about Blue. This one he made quite a while ago and actually teased a bit of it on a V live stream previously, but now Blue is finally out for streaming officially, the full thing. This song he worked on with the producer Zae-sun, who also worked on Psycho by Baekhyun, which is one of his best songs, honestly, as well as Last Piece by GOT7, so keep your eyes out on the producer Zae-sun as well as Taeyong, of course. The fans have already been going all out to promote this for him, which we love to see, even paying for Instagram story and post paid advertisement posts, the sponsored ones that show up in your feed whether you're following them or not. People have already been doing that, so shout out to all of them for doing that, spreading the word, being his PR team. Let's break down the lyrics bit by bit, and as we go along, commentary to intersperse between the lyrics. Going inside that hollow space, inside it is the color blue, universe is there at the end of it, come find me out of the blue, we fly. All of the longings, all of the loneliness, pour all of them out. He's basically singing about describing this void, this hollow space that you could physically go into, and just kind of remove all of your thoughts. Take those bad memories out or take feelings out. It's just a place to vent and let your feelings out in a way that will leave them there out in the open so you can deal with them, confront them, and get them out of your mind. He also keeps describing, as the song's title suggests, that this is happening in a place that is blue, and that the color blue, which is meant to be this calming color, is filling this void where you're throwing out there into the world your most negative thoughts and feelings and biggest worries. He's basically painting the picture of a therapeutic environment in more ways than one. I'm growing sick of everything. I hope the days will become brighter. Drowsy again inside all my dreams. Spit out something new and patch up the spots with holes. I build the path that reflects myself in the mirror and make it so I could love the way that I am. Basically talking about how he's a work in progress, and I want to go back to that in a second. Some people call me a fool. Some people say they can't understand me. This blame confines me and keeps me from leaving this place. Couple of things. One is that it makes me think of his tattoos. One says under and one says stand, and how he's always preaching about understanding other people. Second is that on his V Lives time and time again, he's brought up that message about how people aren't going to like what you're doing, and you can't please everyone, so might as well just stay being yourself, even though people may call you a fool or ridiculous. Third thing is that I wonder if these lyrics are a subtle response to the Lawn Flight criticism, so I wonder if he's kind of taking a dig at his haters there as well. Lastly, it's interesting because at this point in the song, he's really painted this picture of a therapeutic place where you can leave all of your negative thoughts into this empty void and it then calm down. But now he's saying the blame and the comparison that is taking away his joy is confining him, and now he can't leave the void. So now he's in this void with his negative thoughts circling, but he can't even leave now and just get rid of it, like intended. Ultimately, I take this song to be about feeling like you're falling into this void, but the void is blue, which is meant to comfort, and so fine, you can withstand being in this environment as long as you are there with someone else who's comforting you, holding you, can't get out automatically, and finding a way to cope with that. He said he intended to make this song comforting for people, and that's why he wanted to release it now. He felt like that's what the world needed. The song has gotten that positive feedback from fans like myself, who really do love it. It is a comforting, special song, and I'm very glad he released it. What's really interesting to me and brings home that point I wanted to get back to. He was saying on one of his super common V live streams, at least frequent compared to some other artists, this is when he really felt like he became an artist. When he got that positive response from fans saying they really appreciated it, this song is exactly what they needed in their lives right now. That's really interesting to me because he's been in several groups with NCT and Super M. He's been considered the both unofficial and official leader of a giant group of people. He's viewed as a frickin' famous superhero. And so for him to say he finally feels like an artist, not after awards, not after his song that's been the most commercially promoted, but just after one SoundCloud release, fans say that song was just what I needed in my life. Music is so healing in that way, and so that's what it's all about, and that's what I respect about him and other artists who are in this for the right reasons and are continuing to then use their platform to make sure music is the healing source it ultimately can be if they put that time and detail into it and take into consideration their positive impact they could have by just being open and vulnerable. I really want to belabor this point because it sums up what my show is all about and why I even have these podcasts about fandom culture and being a fan of someone and why that really is a big deal. What is the big deal with your favorite K-pop stars? Why is it such as some may call it, an obsession with people? And it's ultimately because of moments like this. Because life is admittedly so freaking hard. This is why I think fans have a particularly intimate connection, or at least a sense of one, to famous musicians as opposed to famous actors, athletes, etc. We naturally want to gravitate towards and thank profusely the artists who gave us those moments of joy. Because what's unique about being a musician, about being that type of celebrity, you show so many sides as part of your job. It is healing out in the open, and that really resonates with people. Actors or athletes or the like maybe just portray less of themselves publicly, and so their lives seem less relatable. You can't see them as human as the people who are healing in public. Coexisting these musical personas that are fun and confident, while having these sessions on live streams, talking to fans, looking you in the eye through the camera, and sharing their more vulnerable sides through solo projects that they just release on the side. So they are both polished and they show this less polished, less confident side of themselves. Musicians ultimately bare their souls in ways that transcend the language and remind us that they're human. And songs like this that talk about coping with negative feelings and finding a way to just admit you need somebody, you need some source of comfort, that is ultimately Taeyong admitting that he's a work in progress and he's keeping his humility about his celebrity status. And it's inviting fans to join in on the project. So if life is all about a project and reinventing ourselves and figuring out who we truly are, how to be better people, etc., improvement is a lot more manageable. It feels a lot more possible with community when you're not going it alone. So while all celebrities may have fan bases because they may show that they're a work in progress and that appeals to some people, musicians, especially certain ones like Taeyong who are extra open and constantly communicate with us via live stream and other less filtered, scripted platforms, they're not just saying they're a work in progress. They're saying they're a work in progress and they invite you to join them on this big group project, on this work, on this progress. Let's figure out how to work through our flaws, our insecurities, our setbacks together. Lifting each other up is what it's all about. Please support Taeyong and other artists who really are in this career for the right reasons. Here are my comments on Monroe. This one is a collaboration with Baekhyun called Monroe. and it's basically a flirty song to his Monroe. It's a love song about someone he has a crush on. But what's more interesting than just the song is getting to hear the behind the scenes of the release of that song, which Taeyong always does with his live streams. And this time was no different. So he opened up on V-Live. He revealed actually that the Monroe cover art, which he took at a stylist friend's house, side note, which the rapper One actually also filmed in previously. But anyway, this cool artsy stylist house that he took the promo pictures for Monroe in was something he took pictures for before Blue, but Blue came out first. He also revealed that there was this different demo version of Monroe that was recorded in 2019, and we got to hear a bit of it on the V-Live. He said he made this song basically while reflecting on what being in love should look and feel like. Other details about this release that are noteworthy: for this SoundCloud song's cover art, he was making paintings in real time. In one of those paintings, he ended up giving as a gift to the stylist who let him film there. In its first 24 hours, Monroe reached 730,000 streams, 95,000 likes, nearly 11,000 shares, and over 30,000 comments. Baekhyun on the first verse, interestingly, sings about keeping a poker face, yet being mad that you won't open up to him. Like, why are you having a poker face? Yet I'm trying to hide my emotions. So it's kind of a mirror in this relationship. These partners are both hiding a lot. So he's getting mad, but maybe he should look in the mirror first. That's how I interpreted that. On verse 2 with Taeyong and Baekhyun, they sing about, "Give me the sign, all I have left is time. I'll be waiting for you." And then they start talking about Apollo and Venus. Venus is viewed as one of the most powerful goddesses, if not the most powerful. The goddess of beauty, prosperity, victory, tons of stuff. Similarly, Apollo is the god of music, dance, the arts overall, healing. So naturally together they are like the literal OTP in history. And then they compare the relationship, or just you entering their life, as like a thunderbolt. Here's the segment where I talked about Rose. This one is a collaboration with Seulgi, a longtime friend of his and a collaborator dating back to 2014 when Red Velvet released the iconic Be Natural featuring Taeyong. And Seulgi is on a new TY track called Rose. In its first 24 hours, Rose reached 828,000 streams, 108,000 likes, nearly 32,000 comments, and 14.8 thousand shares. Re-entered the top 5 at that time as well. And the other day, Blue surpassed 3 million streams. Taeyong also just reached 300,000 SoundCloud followers. And Lawn Flight by Taeyong is officially the fastest NCT solo song to reach 18 million streams. Seulgi shared on a recent live stream some behind-the-scenes information about how this collaboration came together. And it's really sweet because she was apparently in the middle of a different recording session when she decided to squeeze in time to work on the song Rose. Interesting timing that if she's been recording recently and Taeyong's been in the studio at the same time, and SM Entertainment just confirmed Red Velvet is hoping to make their next full group comeback this August, maybe Taeyong managed to work on Red Velvet's upcoming album, working on a collab, adding his vocals to a song, adding a rap to a song. Just throwing that idea out there. This song was co-produced with Square, Squar. He had just started humming one day, and that became the melody they worked with. But Seulgi and Taeyong both wrote their own lyrics for this song. And it tells a really interesting story with an interesting metaphor, as previous Taeyong SoundCloud song breakdowns have detailed. Which, by the way, you can check out my deep dive into the meaning of those previous releases on all the episodes listed if you go to my website, click on the NCT Talk page link, and scroll to the bottom of that NCT page for all the Taeyong-specific content. Anyway, here are some of my favorite lyrics. This dream is magnifying. I know it'll hurt to lie down in the garden of roses, but I still dream about it. Drop by drop, my fingertips are fully covered in scars. If I don't dare to be hurt by the thorns, then eventually that dream will be impossible. I find you in my dream. Sulgi sings, try coming over. It seems like it took a while for days like this to come. They go on to continue to use this metaphor of roses that have their thorns, but they need to get through this garden of roses to reach each other. And they feel like they can't hesitate anymore, like they've been waiting for the thorns to recede. But that's never going to happen. The roses will never just not have thorns. They can't just wait for circumstances to be perfect. So this is as good as it's going to get. Now or never, go meet each other. Go cross the garden of roses. After all, he sings, if I don't dare to be hurt by the thorns, eventually the dream will be impossible. And the chorus features the line, jumping through the rose. Just try coming on over. I get very much a Prince Philip from Sleeping Beauty vibe from this. Having to cut through acres and acres of thorny forest to get to the castle. That's kind of what I'm visualizing here. Wouldn't it be so incredibly beautiful if this had a full promo rollout and Prince-themed photo shoots and merchandise for Taeyong? Again, when he says, this dream is magnifying now, I know it hurts in the Garden of Roses, but also, I'm still dreaming about it, despite fingertips covered in scars. Again, made me think of Sleeping Beauty, pricking her finger and everything. He's willing to take the plunge now. It's so worth the risk. No pain, no gain kind of attitude. He sings that one night I'd like to travel to a dream with you in the language only us know. And they talk about greeting the morning together and just listening to each other's stories. Maybe watching the sunset in this beautiful rose garden. So they do paint a really pretty picture in your head, while at the same time, those thorns keep getting brought up continuously. There's another interesting contradiction when he says, passing through the bushes of thorn before night comes. You shine everywhere so I could find you. So he's basically talking about trying to get to you before it gets dark out. Yet he compares you to some sort of star in the sky, guiding his way, some sort of reading the stars he can do for a direction. And yes, I know technically stars do shine during the day too, we just don't see them, but the point is, it's an interesting conundrum, because his ideal circumstance is not fully possible, just like his ideal look of the roses is not possible. They are bound to have thorns too, and the stars are bound to be dimmed by the time of day. He always does this where he words things in a way where there are symbols that are pretty easy to decipher about what he's talking about in the picture he's painting. But then there are always hidden layers to it as well. Different pieces of his metaphors you can interpret however you wish that are not as surface level noticeable as you'd think. So another really well done job. Here are my comments, my new comments about swimming pool. Taeyong decided to use a really interesting metaphor, as he often does, this time describing a swimming pool as both his safe zone and a place where he's drowning. You can feel free as you swim, and you could feel like you're stuck underwater. Lyrics include, what am I? I'm trying to catch something that can't be seen. I'm running with effort, but I don't really have any confidence, so I've tried to take care of everything and solve it by myself. I keep thinking over the same problem. I'll wash it all away, go into the pool. This sounds like his version of the expression, you made your bed, now lie in it. You threw all these thoughts into a pool, now you're stuck swimming in it. So the symbol is contradictory, where it represents washing away negative experiences, regrets, etc. And you're still in the water with that stuff. You're not getting out of it. He says, I just swim in a swimming pool. I curl up as much as I can, looking at a different world from the one above the water. Ironically, being in deep water is helping him see clearly, see the world from a new angle. He sings, I'm alone again, inside the frame I made. I've locked myself up, but it's comfortable here. He is in a prison of his own making, and he has to deal with the consequences of his actions. But then he says, I've been praying every night to make amends for my sins. I wash myself away again. You can drain all of the water in here, a place full of greed. Looking at this surface has divided my lonely room. Even if I wanted to change and enlighten myself, Even looking at this place makes me lose my mind. So he's basically saying, while he views a pool simultaneously as something that boxes him in and traps him with negative thoughts and memories, and he sees swimming as a comforting thing to do, at this time he can only focus on the former, not the latter. He can't look at this pool that he put all of his guilt and regrets in. That's where his mind was at when he was swimming. Now he can't re-enter the water without thinking about those regrets. And as he tries to wash himself of sin, well, if you're washing yourself off with the water from the pool you left your sins in, symbolically you're never going to wash yourself of that. Since he said prior to this release that he had 2 more songs ready to release soon, this is one of them, and then I think the other one is like a partner song. Because he said one of these songs is going to focus on how he felt at the start of the year, and the other one focuses on how he's feeling now. So I have a feeling this despair and regret is something he was thinking about when the new year rolled around. This moment of what am I doing with my life, that kind of thing. And then the new song I bet will be a lot more optimistic, a lot more forgiving of himself, and a lot more confident, less backwards thinking, and more forward thinking. That wraps up today's episode. Lots to get to in the next few weeks on the show, but I'll keep it a surprise. That's all I will say for now. Happy birthday, Taeyong, and I will see you all very, very soon.